Recording in progress.
We will begin with our prayer. Somagyanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Dalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Krishnabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नित्यनामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone. We are discussing from Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 3. We are chapter 9, which is entitled The Prayers of Brahmaji, Brahma's Prayers for Creative Energy. So in the last chapter, it was described how Brahma prayed to the Lord. Lord appeared, showed his beautiful form. And then Brahmaji in this chapter is praying to the Lord for showing mercy, for empowering him, for giving him strength to perform this service, which he has to do. So in this first 25 verses are the prayers which Brahmaji is offering to the Supreme Lord. And in the beginning, he says, "Today, after years of penance, I got to know about you." And those who are embodied, they are unfortunate because they don't know you, because you are the only object who is supposed to be known. Yatosyadyame suchiran nanudeha bhajam nagyayate. Nagyayate, those who don't know, they are unfortunate. Pavadyam. And then he offers beautiful prayer. He says, Lord may say that, okay, but this form that you have described is current, something you see today. So it is, if it is recent, then it is not eternal. So your words show that my form is not eternal. Because Brahmaji says, Gyatosi adyame, today I have seen this form. So Brahmaji describes, no, oh my Lord, your form, Rupam Yad Etat Avabodha Rasodayina, by your mercy, Sadanugrahaya, and by your mercy to your devotees, by your Chit Shakti, Avabodha Rasa, you have shown this form, which is eternal. Sashwan Nivritta Tamasaha, it is eternal form, devoid of any tamas. And this form is the source of all the avatar Shataika Bijam. And from this form, I have appeared from the navel. And then he says, those people who say that Lord's form is not there, Lord is impersonal, they are supposed to go to hellish destinations. Nataha param param yad bhavata swarupam. Because this personal form is the supreme form. There is nothing greater and superior to this personal form, which is Anandamatram, Avikalpam, Avidhavarchaha. So Anandamatram means he is the embodiment of bliss. Avikalpam, he is without any changes. This form does not change. And Avidhavarchaha, He is a form of unrestricted light or without deterioration. And then he says, I surrender to this form because only this form can bestow auspiciousness. Tadva idam bhuvana mangala mangalaya. Not Brahman, because when I offered my prayers, you appeared, not Brahman. So this personal form is very, very auspicious form, and this form gives mercy, not the impersonal form. But those who do not accept this form, they are destined to go to hell. Yo anadrit narak bhag bhi, they will fall to hell. Prabhupada writes, they are pilgrims to hell. And then he describes among the Brahman and Bhagavan, Bhagavan is superior. But what about the worshippers of Bhagavan? That he describes in the 5th verse. Ye tu tvadiya charanambuja koshagandham jighranti karna vivarai. They can experience the aroma of the lotus feet of the Lord through their ears. Jighranti means smell, through the ears. So devotees also, they are superior to Gyanis. Just like Paramatma feature or Brahman feature is superior to Bhagavan feature is superior to Brahman feature, devotees are superior to Gyanis. And then he describes in the 6th verse that, oh my Lord, people who are absorbed in this material world, they are always afraid. Shoka, Spriha, Paribhava, Vipulachcha Lobha. They have unlimited anxiety, they have unlimited greed. And then we were discussing 7th, we discussed till 7th?
7th we are discussing.
Discussing. Okay, so we'll recite this 7th verse. Daivena te hatadhiyo bhavatah prasangat sarva shubhopashamanad vimukhendriyaye kurvanti kama shukhalesh lavaya dina lobhabhibhut manaso kushalani shashvat.
Oh my Lord, persons who are bereft of the all auspicious performance of chanting and hearing about your transcendental activities are certainly unfortunate and are also bereft of good sense. They engage in inauspicious activities, enjoying sense gratification for a little while.
So 7th, 8th and 10th, these 3 verses describe 3 types of people who are trapped in this material world. So 7th verse describes how karmis are trapped. 8th verse describes how foolish living entities are trapped. Karmis have little intelligence, they know scriptures and they want to enjoy in a scriptural way. But there are people who are completely foolish. They don't even understand how this world is working. They are bewildered by hunger and thirst. That is their situation. And the 10th verse describes how Gyanis are trapped. So, Lord may say, if this is so, then why doesn't every intelligent person accept your lotus feet? Because the last verse said, people are always embarrassed by material anxieties and always filled with lamentation. As long as they do not take shelter of your lotus feet, they'll be full of such anxieties. So the natural question is then why people don't take to your lotus feet, oh my Lord? Because, Chakravarti Thakur says, because of offense to you, they have lost their intelligence. The ivenate hat dhiyaha. Hat dhiya means they have lost their intelligence. And therefore they have turned their face again, separate away from you. So then, Chakravarti Thakur says, well, if that is the case, yeah, so okay, we discussed that. So, Daivenate hatadhyaha bhavatah prasanga. Oh my Lord, people who are bereft of all auspicious activities of hearing and chanting, they never take shelter of your lotus feet. And therefore they are always sarva ashubha. Ashubha means they're always unfortunate. They're always in an inauspicious situation. Sarva ashubha upashamanat, and they are just trying to rectify their problems, but they never come out of their problems because they are vimukhendriya. They are bereft of all the good sense. Vimukhendriya. And therefore, what are they doing? Kurvanti kama sukha lesh. For a drop of pleasure, they are working very hard. Kama sukha lesha lavaya dina. They are working very hard, but they get a very little bit of sense gratification. But still, lobha abhibhut. But because their mind, manasa, is overwhelmed with greed, lobha abhibhut manasa, akushalani shashvat. They always engage in inauspicious activities. They never come out of these inauspicious activities because they have desire to enjoy. That is, it's like Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, 71st verse says, Kama, Kamatman, नहीं, 2.70, 71 में एक word आता है उसमें. Their Atma is for enjoyment. 2.70, 71, I am forgetting the exact word, it is not coming. So their Atma is for enjoyment. So that's why they are always thinking of inauspicious things. Such people, they will never take to your lotus feet. Vihaya kaman yas sarvan pumam charati nispraya nirmamo nirahankaro sashanti madhigacchati. एक दूसरा वर्स है कामात्मान स्वर्ग परा, that comes in I think 3rd chapter. Their atma is for kama and they want to enjoy heavenly pleasures. Kamatmana swarga para janma karma phala pradam kriya vishesh bahulam bhog aishwarya gatim prati. So for that they work very hard. So that's how these people, they never take to your lotus feet because they are addicted to sinful activities. They are addicted to sense gratification.
It's the people who perform karma kand.
These people, they do sinful activities also. Kama sukhale, just like Prahlad Maharaj also says, Kutra shisha shuti shukham rivitrishne rupa. It is all mirage. And the last verse says, last line of this verse says, Vedam kalevaram ashesharujam viroha nirvid kamanalam madhu lavai. Lava means a drop of pleasure, but an ocean of trouble. So that's how, because of their offensive nature towards the Lord, they have become engaged in sense gratification. The material happiness, it is very costly. There is material happiness in this world, but it is very costly. It is like 1 lakh for one rasgulla, So that is how the pleasure of this world is very costly. Every pleasure is imbued with pain. Which verse says this in Bhagavad Gita? Anything you do in this world, pain will come along with it. Any happiness, any sense gratification. Very famous verse. Yehi samsparshaja dukkha. Yes. So that's, but spiritual happiness is easily available and it never gets destroyed. Where it is said, it never gets destroyed. Spiritual happiness, spiritual advancement. Neha vikramana ashvasti. Yeah. So Prabhupada writes, the next question, somebody can read the purport.
The next question is why people are against such auspicious activities such as chanting and giving the glories and pastimes of the Lord, which can bring total freedom from the cares and anxiety of material existence. The only answer to this question is that they are unfortunate because of supernatural control due to their offensive activities performed simply for the sake of sense gratification. The Lord's pure devotees, however, take compassion upon such unfortunate persons and in a missionary spirit try to persuade them in the line of religious service. Only by the grace of pure devotees can such unfortunate men be elevated to the position of transcendental success.
Okay. So they are engaged in akushalani shashwat. They are always engaged in inauspicious activities. But Lord's pure devotees, they are compassionate. And by the grace of pure devotees, only such unfortunate people can be elevated. Of course, whenever this word pure devotee comes, we should not. So when we hear this word pure devotee, so how to understand? By the grace of only by the grace of pure devotees, not by sadhaka bhaktas. So who is a pure? So which type of pure devotee is mentioned here? Any thoughts? Because most of us, we came in touch with Krishna consciousness by hearing from some devotee who came and asked, please come for program, and then we started coming and we started attending. So apparently they are all sadhak bhaktas, but many times Prabhupada writes, by the grace of pure devotees. So how to understand this?
Message is from the pure devotee.
Okay.
They represent.
They are representing the words of pure devotee. Okay. Yes. Any other thoughts?
Anybody who's following another pure devotee, although they are in the journey of purification, is also considered a pure devotee.
Okay. Yes, that is also there. Kaviraj Goswami says there are two types of pure devotee. Say bhakta gana hoye dvida prakar parshad gana ar sadhaka gana ar. Practicing devotee, pure devotee, and perfected pure devotee. Okay. Any other thoughts?
Who try to fulfill the desire of the spiritual master, who is guiding him.
Okay, he's following the instructions of the spiritual master properly. As Prabhupada said, I am just a postal PM. I may not be perfect, but the message which I am giving is perfect. Okay, yes, that is also right. So another understanding of pure devotee is, in the Bhagavad Gita 9th chapter, the Sapichet Sudurachara verse. In that, Chakravarti Thakur writes, what is Sudurachar? In that he writes, a person who engages in thievery, adultery, and एक दो चीज और बोलते हैं, तो तीन चार चीज, and they are really so durachari. But still he says, my pure devotee will very easily come out of all these sinful activities. So this looks a contradiction. He is talking about a person who is doing sinful activity and referring to him as a pure devotee. So how to understand this? What is pure in that? A person is addicted. Sudurachari means who is addicted to thievery, adultery, and all the ek do cheez aur bolte hain usme. And then he says, my pure devotee will very Shipram bhavati dharmatma. So what is pure in that?
He has turned towards the Lord.
वो तो है. But what is pure in that? He is saying my pure devotee will naturally, very easily come out of. Prabhupada also writes in the purport. I'll just read the purport. 9.30. So that is very interesting and important to understand. Whenever we hear these things, what is pure in this?
Pure in the sense, pure in this means about that devotee or?
Prabhupada writes.
Yeah.
The question remains, how can a person engaged in abominable activities be a pure devotee? Prabhupada is himself raising this question. Because he declares, ye mera pure devotee hai. how this person is a pure devotee? This question may quite justly be raised. The miscreants who never come in devotional service have no good qualifications. And generally a devotee who is engaged in 9 kinds of devotional service is engaged in the process of cleansing all material contamination from the heart. He puts the Supreme Lord within his heart, and all sinful contaminations are washed. Continuous thinking of Supreme Lord makes him pure by nature. So basically, Chakravarti Thakur writes in a little more clear way. He says, what is pure is the Shraddha of this devotee.
Oh,
He never takes shelter of any other devta. He never gives up the practice of devotional service. He may fall down hundreds of times, but he has this conviction that I will never give up worshipping the Lord. That is pure inner devotee. Shraddha is pure. It is weak, but it is pure. So this is the difference between the pure Shraddha and mixed Shraddha. Mixed Shraddha means I am taking shelter of karma also, jnana also, and all the other things also. But I am only taking shelter of Krishna and devotional sense. That way my Shraddha is pure. So with that pure Shraddha, his Shraddha may be weak. It may get contaminated easily, but currently it is pure. If somebody starts, speaking some other things, he may get confused. But he is currently in a pure state. It is weak. That's why it is weak. Komal Shraddha. So Komal Shraddha can easily get, destroyed. So that's how pure devotee means he has pure Shraddha. And any devotee who has pure Shraddha, when he speaks, when he preaches, he is giving his Shraddha to that person. Bhaktya sanjayate bhakti. Only a devotee can give devotion, not anyone else. So any devotee who is sincerely understanding the philosophy, not taking shelter of karma and jnana, that is actually pure devotional service. Definition? What is the definition? Pure devotion? Jnana karmadi anavritam. So it is not jnana karmadi shunyam. It is jnana karmadi anavritam. Because we are also understanding, getting knowledge, jnana. But that jnana is not impersonal jnana. There are three types of knowledge. Keval jnana, Atma jnana, and Ishwar jnana. So Atma jnana means knowledge of the soul. Keval jnana means knowledge of impersonal Brahman. And Ishwar jnana means knowledge of Bhagavan. So what we are trying to cultivate is knowledge of Ishwar. And as we get the knowledge of Ishwar, Atma jnana comes automatically. We begin our process by taking knowledge of Ishwar more. That's what Arjuna says in the 12th chapter. Evam satata yukta ye bhaktas tvam pariyupasate echapi aksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittama, which is better, Krishna? Those who start getting knowledge of soul or getting knowledge of Bhagavan. That is Baldev Vidyabhushan's commentary. So Prabhupada follows, that is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. Baldev Vidyabhushan says, knowledge of impersonal Brahman or knowledge of Bhagavan? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives a different understanding. Knowledge of Atma or knowledge of Bhagavan? Which is better to start with? Because you have described both things. First 6 chapters describe knowledge of Atma. Next 6 chapters, 7 to 12, describe knowledge of Bhagavan. Which is better? Where to start? So Krishna says, of course, knowledge of Bhagavan is better. Evam satata yuktaye bhaktas tvam paripasejam. How Krishna starts? Mayyaveshya manoyemam nitya yukta upasate shraddhaya parayogpeta teme yukta tamamata. They are superior. So that's how a devotee is not contaminated by karma and jnana, which will take him or her away from pure devotion. Okay. So then after this, here is a very, very interesting verse where Brahmaji is expressing his concern and he's lamenting, seeing the conditions of fallen people of this world. They are really suffering. He says that people when I see this, the people of the world suffering with hunger, thirst, lust, and greed, my heart breaks. Because these are fools trapped in this material world, don't know what to do, how to come out of it. Shutritridhatu virima muhuradyamana शीतोष्णवात वर्षैरितरेतराच कामाग्निनाच्युतरुषा च सुदुर्भरेण
कामाग्निनाच्युतरुषा च सुदुर्भरेण
सम्पश्यतो मनोरुक्रमसीदते मे
सम्पश्यतो मनोग्रमसीदते मे.
O great actor, my Lord, all these poor creatures are constantly perplexed by hunger, thirst, severe cold, secretion, and bile, attacked by coughing winter, blasting summer, rains, and many other disturbing elements, and overwhelmed by strong sex urges and indefatigable anger. I take pity on them and I am very much aggrieved for them.
Me manaha, my mind, sidate. I am really disheartened. I am really troubled. Seeing the sampashyato, seeing the condition of all these living entities, because they are again and again suffering. Muhu, muhu means again and again. This word comes very commonly, muhu. Anywhere else this word has come? Muhu. Muhuraho or sika bhavuka. Okay. Or anywhere else? Okay, ठीक है.
साधु पदे पदे के भी इसमें मुंह आता है.
कौन सा श्लोक है?
Please.
Okay, ठीक है, no problem. Muhu. So he says, these people are constantly suffering. Muhu, again and again suffering. Ardyamanaha. Ardyamana means always perplexed. By what? They are suffering in three ways. Externally, internally, and in subtle way. So externally, how they are suffering? Shut. Internally, how they are suffering? Shut. Trit. Tridhatu. Hunger, thirst, and cough, vat, pitta always disturbed. बाहर से शीत, उष्ण, वात, वर्षाई. Anitarettarach. And they are troubling each other also.
और आदि भौतिक.
आदि भौतिक भी होता है. And not only that, achyut काम अग्नि. Achyut means
कभी न कम होने वाला.
infallible, indefatigable. So achyut काम अग्नि. Prabhupada writes, what is this? Overwhelmed by strong sex urges or desire to enjoy. And achyut rushacha. The anger is also continuous. They are always angry over one something or other. So that's the situation of people who are not surrendering to the Lord. So Prabhupada writes, a pure devotee like Brahma is always unhappy to see the perplexities. So it is not that those who are, advanced, they are not concerned because they are always enjoying in the ocean of devotional service. They are happy. This theme comes always. All the pure devotees, first thing they ask is, "Arey in logon ka kya hoga?" I am really overwhelmed seeing the condition of people of this world. Anywhere else, such types of prayer are offered by someone? Prahlad Maharaj says, उसमें क्या बोलते हैं? I am not concerned about my liberation, but I am thinking how these people will get delivered. Shoche tato vimukchetasa indriyartha. I am lamenting. Shoche. Maya sukhaya bharamudvahato vimudha. They are just trying to get illusory happiness. Maitreya tells, Vidurji tells Maitreya, कौन सा famous श्लोक है? सुखाय कर्माणि करोति लोको ये लोग इतना सुख प्राप्त करने के लिए प्रयास कर रहे हैं, they are suffering more. ना तो सुख तो मिलता नहीं है, वन्य दुपारम, they get more trouble. So that's even Supreme Lord doesn't feel happy when he sees the conditions of even sinful people. Any example? We have heard Duryodhan ka hai, Uddhavji tells this situation, when Krishna sees the Duryodhan is, fallen with his thigh. Okay, so we are discussing from third canto, 9th chapter, 8th verse. So Brahmaji is very disturbed seeing the condition of the people of this world, and Supreme Lord also is not so happy when he sees the conditions so suffering in this world. He is not a sadistic person who is happy giving troubles to sinful people, punishing them. He is lamenting, just like a father who may punish the child who does something wrong, but he feels bad also. So that story comes when Duryodhan had fallen, and Krishna, he saw, he was not so happy. So Karna Dusha Shana Saubalanam Kumandrapakena Hatashtrayayushaha Suyodhanam Sanucharam Shayanam Bhagnoru Urvyam Nanananda Pashyam. Suyodhan, very respectable address. Earlier he was called as Suyodhan only. Dusashan was called as Sushashan, but because of their wrong activities, they became Dursashan, Duryodhan. Nanananda Pashyan, he was not happy seeing the condition of Duryodhan also. So Prabhupada writes, not knowing adequate measures for relieving such difficulties, suffering persons sometimes pose themselves as leaders of people, and the unfortunate followers are put into further disadvantages. Andha yathandhi upaniyamana, a blind person following a blind man. So this is verse where Creator himself is telling what to expect in this material world. This is how he has made this world. This world is made very precisely, wonderfully to fulfill the desire. Om Purnamada Purnamidam. This world is perfect. How this world is perfect when there are so many problems in this world? This world is perfectly made to frustrate our desires. That's how this world is perfect. And Brahmaji is giving a testimony how he has made this world. Don't expect happiness and pleasure in this world. So actually, this is a thankless task Brahmaji is doing. He is keeping us in troubled situation so that we can take to this process of Krishna consciousness. That's why this Bhuloka is a very wonderful place to practice bhakti. Because in heaven, so much of sense gratification. In hell, so much of pain. So in Bhumandal only, a blend of everything. Kabhi khushi, kabhi gam. So that's how this is a place where we can practice bhakti properly. Prabhupada writes, devotees of the Lord who voluntarily take the responsibility of raising foolish materialistic sense enjoyers are as confidential to the Lord as Brahma. So that's how Prabhupada is talking about himself here. They are taking the responsibility of raising foolish people. Krishna says, third chapter, Na buddhi vedam janayed ajnanam karma sanginam. One should not disturb the faith of ignorant people. Just try to engage them. Prabhupada writes in the purport, devotee goes one step ahead. They disturb the faith of ignorant people. Lord says, don't disturb. The devotee disturbs them and tries to bring them close to Krishna. So that's how devotees, they are confidential to Lord as Lord Brahma. So then, Chakravarti Thakur says, but why do you lament for such miseries as material existence itself is just like a dream? It's all a dreamy situation. Why are you troubled so much? Because this is a dream, but as long as the person is sleeping, for a sleeping person, the pain is real. The person who is sleeping, he may be chased by a tiger in a dream and he is really feeling it that I am about to die. So for us, it is a real dream because the pain which a person is going through is real. And Maya Devi does not allow a person to get up also. The pure devotees are like the people who are awake. And material condition shows they are people who are sleeping. And they are troubling. And pure devotees, they try to wake up. Jiva jago, Gaura Chandra Bodhi. Okay. So then, 9th verse. Translation, somebody can read.
O my Lord, the material miseries are without actual existence for the soul. Yet, as long as the conditioned soul sees the body as meant for sense enjoyment, he cannot get out of the entanglement of material miseries, being influenced by your external things.
So material miseries are without factual existence. Actually, soul is spiritual and all the matter cannot touch the soul. But because we start identifying with the soul, start identifying with the matter, that's why we suffer. That's how living entity, although does not have to do anything with this material world, but still he is suffering because he starts identifying with the body. That is how Prabhupada read. The whole trouble is that he has an independent conception of life. I am the enjoyer. I am the proprietor. Ishwaroham, aham bhogi, siddhoham, balavan, sukhi. That's why a person suffers. And then after a few lines, Prabhupada writes, his constitutional position is to dovetail himself with the desire of supreme will. As long as he does not do so, he is sure to drag on in the shackles of material bondage. Prajahati yada kaman. We have to give up all the material desires which are born of the mind. Manogatan. So the 7th verse described karmis who are addicted to sin. They are trapped in this world. 8th verse described fools who are bewildered by thirst and hunger. They are trapped in this world. Why they are trapped is described in the 9th verse. And now in the 10th verse, Jnanis are also trapped. Although material existence is caused by ignorance. Yes, because people are ignorant. That's why we are trapped. So Jnanis, they are aware. They should be able to destroy the ignorance. He says no. Even Jnanis cannot come out of the cycle of birth and death. Unless a person takes your association, O my Lord, they can never come out of this material world. Translation, somebody can read.
Such non-devotees engage their senses in very troublesome and extensive work, and they suffer insomnia at night because their intelligence constantly breaks their sleep with various mental speculations. They are frustrated in all their various plans by supernatural power. Even great sages, if they are against your transcendental topics, must rotate in this material world.
Ahani apritarth karana nishi nishayana. Nishi nishayana. At night, they suffer insomnia. And apritarth karana. They are always engaged in distressing work. As Prabhupada said, modern industries are Prabhupada, right? No, universities, industries. Prabhupada compares them to hell. Universities are like slaughterhouses, and all the modern industries are like hell. So where people are really ugra karma is happening, distressing work. And because of that, Nishi Nishayana, they suffer insomnia. Shana Bhagna Nidra, very, light sleep. It gets broken every now and then because of fear, because of distress. And sometimes people, they come and say, sote sote main ekdam ukh jata hu because of some fear. Some dream comes and I get up. Nishinishayana. Then Nana Manorath Dhiya. They keep on doing so many mental speculations. Daiva Hatarth Rachana. And Hat Arth Rachana, whatever plans they make, it is Hat Daiva Hata. Man proposes, God disposes. Lord purposefully destroys the plans of everyone. He does it. Rishayopi Deva. Although somebody is a great jnani, great sage, they cannot cross this material ocean unless Yushmat Prasanga, unless they associate with him. So people, even they are jnanis, if they are not your devotee, they will never cross this ocean of material existence. So that is how jnanis are trapped in this material world. Prabhupada writes, people have described, as described in previous verse, people who have no taste for devotional service are occupied in material engagements, and they engage in hard labor during the day, and their senses are engaged very extensively in troublesome duty, in gigantic. इसी में लिखते हैं. Factory is another name for hell. At night, hellishly engaged persons take advantage of wine and women. So that's how people, they try to get relief from the problems they are going through. They take shelter of food, they take shelter of lust, sleep. That's how they somehow get peaceful. And then Prabhupada writes, by the arrangement of supernatural powers, even great scientists and thinkers suffer frustration of the various plans, and they rot in this material world. A great scientist may make discoveries in atomic energy and may be awarded the best prize, but still he has to undergo the reactions of the work by rotating in the cycle. So that's how whoever they may be, great thinkers, great philosophers, great jnanis, if they are not taking shelter, they will continue to suffer in this material world. Chakravarti Thakur writes, sometimes Munaya is seen instead of Rishaya. Rishayopi Deva, the third line says Rishayopi. So he says sometimes Munaya is also, told. What type of sages are these? They have disturbed senses. Artha Karana. Karana means senses. They have their senses disturbed. And Artha Rachana. They have enjoyable objects bestowed to them by karma. So that's how three types of people are trapped in this world. 7th verse describes karmis who are addicted to sin. 8th verse, fools who are bewildered by hunger and thirst. And jnanis are described in this verse. Okay. Then it continues. And then Prabhupada writes a huge purport to this. He talks about impersonal, Brahman worshippers. They may go up to the highest destination of Brahman, still they fall down. Vimukta manina, patanti adha, they fall down again. No one can manufacture any system of religion. Prabhupada gives this example many times. If you make some laws at your home, who will follow your law? Only the government law is followed by everyone. So if people, they manufacture any law in their home, in their way, it is not the perfect religion. As Yamraj describes to all the Yamdutas. So what is dharma? Dharmam sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Prabhupada quotes this verse many, many times. Dharmam to sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Only the Mahajans, they are followed. And Prabhupada quotes, Yamraj tells, who are the 12 Mahajans? Dvadashaite vijaimo dharmam bhagavatam bhata. All these 12 personalities, we are authorized agents to speak about religion. And then Prabhupada says that Principles of religion are not open to any ordinary living entity. They are just to bring the human being to the platform of morality. To understand what is actually religion is very difficult, even if one is situated in principles of morality and non-violence. It is very confidential. Because as soon as one is conversant with real principles of religion, he is at once liberated. So just by following the ordinary principles of morality, one cannot understand what is dharma. Because most of the time people, they think, I am following moral principles, I don't need to practice all these religious principles. But unless people, they follow religiosity and surrender to Krishna, all their endeavors will be Shramayeva Kevalam. Some Siddhir Haritoshana is not happening, then whatever they are doing will not give them perfection of life. They may get some enjoyment in this world, but after this life, what? So they are not able to understand this. And then they again go to the lowest of the destinations, Andha Tama Pravishyanti. So then after describing all the people who are trapped in this world, now Brahmaji is describing how Lord reciprocates with various devotees. Very beautiful verse. In the last verse, he said one can smell through the ears. In this verse, he is using the word where he is saying you can see through the ears also. Shruta ikshit. Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavitarit saroja. Ase shrute kshita patho nanunata pumsam. Yada yada dhyata urugaya vibhavayanti. Tat tad vapu pranayase sadanugrahaya.
Oh Lord, your devotees can see you through the years by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts become cleansed, and you take your seat there. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you.
Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita. So by devotional service, who is 100% engaged, what happens? Rit Saroja, you take your seat in the heart of these devotees. And therefore, devotees can see you. Ase Shruta Ikshit Patho. You reside in their heart, and devotees can see you through their ears. Shruta Ikshit Patho. Nanu Nath, oh my Lord, devotees can see you. Because you are so merciful, you are Sad Anugrahaya. In whatever form devotee worships you, you appear in that form. Yad yad dhiya. Whatever form a devotee likes to see, you appear in that form. Tat tad vapu ye yatha mam prapadyante. Just like one devotee wanted to see Jagannath and he was thinking, Jagannath should have a face of a, my Ganesh. So Lord appeared in that form. So that's how Hativesh is there. So whatever form a devotee wants to see, the Lord appears in that form. So Chakravarti Thakur writes, Bhakti, even without Gyan, delivers one from material existence. More than that, by Bhakti, Lord becomes dependent on the devotee. Gyan without Bhakti, no result. Bhakti without Gyan, no problem. That is one of the Chatushloki. Anyone remembers that? Chatushloki to सबसे difficult है. ऋते अर्थम यद प्रतीयेत न प्रतीयेत चात्मी उसमें और उसमें अन्वय व्यतिरेकाभ्याम में भी आई. Anything which is there not in relationship with the Lord, that is illusion. And whatever you do, if it is giving the result, that thing is absolute. And that is only devotional service. Even if other processes are not there, karma is not there, jnana is not there, bhakti will give the result. But if the jnana is there, karma is there, and bhakti is not there, it will not give the result. Anvaya Vyatireka. And more than that, by bhakti, Lord becomes dependent. That is described again and again in Bhagavatam. Damodar Leela describes, Evam Sandarshita Hyanga Harina Bhritya Vashyata. I become dependent on my devotee. Aham Bhakta Paradhino. Who says? Very famous verse. Aham Bhakta Paradhino Nahi Aswatantra Iva Sadhuvi Grastharidayam Bhaktair Bhakta Janapriya. I am not independent. I am in the heart of my devotees. Lord is telling to Durvasa Muni. After Durvasa Muni goes to Lord and praying. So Lord says, your path, Brahmaji says, your path is first heard about from the mouth of Guru. First we hear, then seen, then directly served. So it all begins with hearing. We first hear, then see, and then serve the Lord. By this path, you are brought to the devotees' lotus hearts. The implication is that the devotee know this path of sadhan bhakti well. So this is the path of sadhana bhakti. By the practice of sadhana bhakti, Lord gets bound. So Prabhupada writes. Somebody can read the purport.
The statement here that the Lord manifests himself before the devotees in the form in which the devotees like to worship him indicates that the Lord becomes subordinate to the desire of the devotee. So much so that he manifests his particular form as the devotee demands. This demand of the devotee is satisfied by the Lord because it is playable in terms of the transcendental release that is
Mm. So that's how whatever form the Lord devotee wants. Just like Prahlad, Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad, where is your Lord? Is he in the pillar? Here. Acharya says Lord was waiting. Which pillar Hiranyakashipu will point to? And I'll enter that pillar. Satyam Vidhatum Nijabhritya Bhashitam. 4 devotees' words are proven right in this verse, in this pastime. Who are they? Brahmaji, Prahlad, Narad Muni. Who is the 4th one? Hiranyakashipu. Where? How? सुना है. So Hiranyakashipu, he says, when Prahlad is, he tells Prahlad, all these soldiers to kill Prahlad, and he's not getting killed. So he says, if he's not dying, that means I am going to die. So to prove the words of Hiranyakashipu, अभी मेरे devotee ने बोला है तो अभी मैं. So that's how Chakravarti Thakur writes. So whatever form Lord devotees want, Lord appears in that form. Ye athamam prapadyante, Prabhupada quotes that. Lord actually moves by the will of the devotees. The Jagannath Puri is a place where deities are there, Shakshi Gopal. The Lord comes from Vrindavan all the way to Vidyanagar, walking. So we और क्या testimony चाहिए? Remuna, खीर चोर गोपीनाथ, तोमा लागी गोपीनाथ, खीर कोयला चोरी. So Lord is stealing also. And that Tota Gopinath, Lord is sitting. All of you must have seen, the how Lord is sitting. वो उनका दिखाते भी है ना, चरण दर्शन वो किए रहेंगे आप लोग. So first time I saw this time. It was wonderful darshan. Lord is sitting in Padmasan nicely. So that's how Lord is so very personal. Like, क्या problem है? खड़े होने के नहीं हो रहे, मैं बैठ जाता हूँ ना. I'll sit down. Because he was thinking किसी और को दे देते हैं. Lord is so much attached. नहीं, you only worship me. That's how it is. And then Prabhupada says, on faith, one associates with bona fide devotees, and by such association, one can become engaged in service, which includes proper initiation. and execution of primary duties prescribed in revealed scriptures. Shruta Ikshit. So we have to hear the scriptures, read the scriptures. By this bona fide hearing process, neophyte devotee becomes cleansed of all rubbish. पिबन्ति ये भागवत आत्मनः कथां कथामृतं श्रवणपुटेषु संभृतां पुनन्ति ते विषय विदूषिताशयां व्रजन्ति तच्चरण सरोरुहान्तिकम्. In that, the translation Prabhupada writes, one becomes purified of the polluted aim of life. Vishaya vidushita ashaya. So when we hear, pibanti, drink through the ears. The ears are special. You can hear, you can smell, you can see, you can taste, you can walk. Vrajanti tat charana. One can go to the Lord also through the ears. That's how ears are. इसलिए कानों को बचा के रखना चाहिए.
तो ये पहले अपने कान की क्षमता कम हो जाती थी, आपको नहीं करती सुनने की. जैसे अपना एज बढ़ता है तो what happens? First which goes? आप पहले चले जाते. कान का कम हो जाता है, वो सुनने को नहीं आता.
Okay, so that's how we have to take shelter of the scriptures. Otherwise, whatever we do in our devotional service, if we are not reading scriptures, if we are not understanding the philosophy behind it, just like Prabhupada, he installed deities at one place and he said, as he was leaving, because devotees were relatively young, new, he said, please read scriptures, otherwise this Archa Vigraha will become Galat It will become a burden in your neck, and you will think, why my spiritual master has given me this burden of Archa Vigraha. Now Sudama Prabhu, in our temple, very senior devotee, says, what is the use of so much of kharcha on the Archa without Bhagavad Charcha? Bhagavad Charcha, if you are not doing, then all the Archa Vigraha Seva will become burden. Because you will not realize that Pratima nahi tumi sakshat Brajendra Nandan. So we'll start seeing them as ordinary stones. This attachment of the devotee to a particular form of the Lord is due to natural inclination. Every living entity has a particular relationship with the Lord, and that relationship is invoked by the practice of bhakti. That is called a Swarupa Siddhi. The Lord does not disclose himself to the casual or inauthentic worshipper. Naham prakasha sarvasya. Okay, last line Prabhupada writes. The conclusion is that Lord cannot become the order supplier of a pseudo devotee, but he is always prepared to respond to the desires of pure devotees. Pure devotees, whatever they want, Lord does. Saratya Parashad Sevana Sakhya Dautya. Lord is doing everything for Pandavas because they are malleable to the will of Krishna. Snigdha. Saratya Parashad Sevana Sakhya Dautya Veera Sananugamana Stavana Pranaman. Snigdheshu. They are malleable to the will of Krishna. So Krishna becomes malleable to the will of devotees. So that's how it is. So that is the process of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. It is not that, in the beginning years of ISKCON, many devotees, they left. When they came to Vrindavan and started associating with Radha Babajis, and they started thinking, maybe Srila Prabhupada has not given us the best. Because Sadhana Bhakti can take you only up to Vaikuntha. If you want to go to Goloka, you have to practice Raganuga Bhakti. So they started associating all these people, other people, and they started leaving. One of the very prominent scholars, his name was Nitai Das. He also left. And one of the devotees, he asked Prabhupada, why is it that devotees are leaving? Is it that you have not given us something for which we have to go to some other person? वैसा directly पूछ भी लेते थे पहले. Or by following whatever you have given, Krishna will reveal in due course of time. Prabhupada said, yes, that is the way. I have given you everything. You just follow and Krishna will reveal whatever is needed in due course of time. One cannot artificially jump to a level where we are not. It's like one devotee, he started associating with Radhakund, some person, Babaji, and he told, your Swarup is your peacock in the spiritual world. And your daily sadhana is you have to speak like peacock in the morning. So all the devotees are chanting and in the background somebody is speaking like peacock. So that all of these have happened in ISKCON. So this Swarupa Siddhi, it starts with regular sadhana bhakti. And even at the level of Bhava Bhakti, there are two types of activities of Bhava Bhakta. In the external world, in the internal life. Seva sadhaka rupena, siddha rupena chatrahi, braj bhava lipsuna karya, braj lokanu sarat. Tad bhava lipsuna karya, braj lokanu sarataha. So, Seva Sadhak, in the outer world, Bhava Bhakta continues to practice sadhana bhakti. He will chant, he will practice regulative principles like ordinary sadhana bhakta. But inside, he will meditate on his Siddha Rupa. That was the purpose, that was the life of all the Goswamis. Sankhya Purvakana Magana TV Kalavasani Kritam. Okay. Then, Prabhupada writes, Prabhupada continues. Okay, so 12th verse. So Brahma says, you stay in the heart of pure devotees, but not in the hearts of devotees having material desires. So, what are the Lord's feeling for Sakam and Nishkam devotees? That Brahmaji is describing in the next verse. Nati prasidati tathopacharitopacharai Aradita surganai ridibadha kamai Yat sarva bhuta dayaya sad alabhya eko Na janisho ahita suridantaratma.
And Lord, you are not very much satisfied by the worship of the demigods, who arrange for your worship very pompously with various paraphernalia, but who are you are situated in everyone's heart as a super soul, just to show your causeless mercy, and you are the eternal well-wisher. You are unavailable for the non-devotee.
So you are not available for the non-devotee, those who have their heart full of material desires. Oh, okay. One form of Supreme Lord resides in, eternally in Brahma Loka. So whenever Indra performs yajna, Lord personally appears. So the Devtas, they see the form. But because they don't have pure devotional sentiment sometimes, so they can't develop that ecstatic mood of serving the Lord in pure way. Sometimes their desires are filled with karma. That's why they are sometimes called as karma mishra. So therefore he says, you are not very much satisfied by worship of devtas, because their worship is many times for material desires, for freedom from the problems they are going through. All the devtas throughout the Bhagavatam, whenever demons attack, they go and worship Krishna. Lord Vishnu appears and they ask for some material things. So that's why Lord is not so pleased. Lord gives them all those things, but he is not so happy with them. So with demigods, you are not so happy. And devotees, you are very pleased because they show mercy to other living entities also. And for non-devotees, you are unavailable. So 3 types of people are described in this verse. How Lord reciprocates with devatas, devotees, and non-devotees. For devatas, he appears in front of them, but he is not so satisfied with their worship because they worship for material benefits. For devotees, Lord is very pleased because they show mercy to living entities. And for non-devotees, you are unavailable. So that's how it is. So Chakravarti Thakur writes, Brahma is saying, you alone are attentive to various people. Tomekaha. Yeah. So you are attentive to various people. This means that they become liberated by attaining bhakti by mercy of your devotees. Lord may say, if that is so, then why I do not deliver them by mercy myself? Brahma says, you are the soul within your devotee. You place in those devotees your kripa shakti. Your devotees, they can only give devotion. Bhaktya sanjayate bhakti. So that's the very important thing. And then he says, even though devotee may give mercy to everyone, but some may have hard heart. Example, one does not see positive results in mercy that Narad and other gave to persons such as Daksha. So although they gave mercy, Narad Muni gave mercy to Daksha, but Daksha didn't transform because he had a very hard heart. But Lord is Surit and Antaratma. He says, by using the word Surit and Antaratma, the faults of hatred and partiality are defeated. Lord is not partial and he is not hard-hearted. He is not hateful. He is Surit, Suridam Sarva Bhutana. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, Devtas are also devotees, but at times they have desire for material opulence. Lord is so kind that he awards them all sorts of material happiness. But he is not satisfied with them because they are not pure devotees. Pure devotees are not desirous of any material enjoyment. So they are only interested in pure devotion. But because Krishna is Yathamam Prapadyante, Lord gives whatever a devotee wants, whatever a person wants. So demigods are Sakam Bhaktas. Pure devotees are Nishkam Bhaktas. So Lord deals with them differently. Because, and then Prabhupada writes, because devotees are working on behalf of the Lord, he is very merciful to devotees. We have to do shloka recitation.